Good evening and a warm welcome to Prime TV News. I'm Lahiru Waduge. Here are the headlines for your top stories tonight. The Supreme Court issues an interim order suspending the Gazette notification issued by the President to dissolve the Parliament. The President undertakes an inspection tour at the Central Environmental Authority. The Premier calls on the Chief Prelate of the Amarapura chapter. Internal conflicts in the United National Front. And in news overseas, California fires, at least 42 die in state's deadliest wildfire. Starting off with our top story tonight, the Supreme Court issued an interim order till the 7th of December suspending the Gazette notification issued by the President to dissolve the Parliament. Meanwhile, earlier, the Attorney General requested the Apex Court to dismiss all petitions filed challenging the dissolution of Parliament as the President's decision is consistent with the country's constitution. 13 fundamental rights petitions were filed yesterday challenging the decision to dissolve the Parliament. Several parties and individuals, including the United National Party, the Tamil National Alliance, the Janata Vimukti Peramuna, the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress and the Centre for Alternative Policy had filed the petitions. The Attorney General, further reasoning, stated that the President's decision to dissolve the Parliament was legally bound and constitutional. The Attorney General said that such a decision could be taken at the discretion of the executive powers vested with the President in accordance with the Article 33 and Article 70 of the Constitution. The Attorney General has said that a general election has been called by a proclamation of the President and that the procedures required for an election have been announced in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. He also said that the universal franchise of the people has been ensured by the President's decision. The Attorney General explained that the judiciary does not have the power to suspend the President's proclamation based on such fundamental rights petitions, as it has been given a clear mandate to the President to dissolve the Parliament. Therefore, the Attorney General requested that the petitions to be dismissed. Meanwhile, security at the Supreme Court premises has been beefed up. STF and anti-riot squads were deployed in the vicinity to tighten the security. President Maithripala Sirisena undertook an inspection tour at the Central Environmental Authority this morning. The President inquired about the internal process of the CEA and its financial activities. President Sirisena instructed the officials to take steps to achieve the anticipated annual targets without being hindered by the current political environment. The attention of the President was also drawn to the CEA's environmental protection licensing system and other services. Later, the President, who went to the Ministry of Lands, inquired about its functioning as well. The President also highlighted importance of successful implementation of the national program of distributing 1 million land deeds in 2019. Secretary to the Mahaveli Development and Environment Ministry, Anura Disanayake, and other officials accompanied the President. The Business Today Awards ceremony was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena in Colombo to felicitate the companies that have excelled in business.
The award ceremony was titled as the Business Today Top 30 and felicitated 30 companies that have excelled in business during the period of 2017 and 2018. Prominent individuals who have personally invested their capital, keeping the confidence in the country's economy, were also felicitated at this award ceremony. Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva and other prominent dignitaries participated in this event.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa called on the most venerable Kotugada Dhammavansa Thera, the Mahanayaka of the Amarapura Mahanikaya. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, who visited the Sri Dharmapalarama Vihara in Mount Lavinia, called on the most venerable Thera. The Prime Minister engaged in a cordial discussion with the Chief Prelate. Now, conflicts are being witnessed among different groups belonging to the United National Front. The clashes came to the limelight at the public gathering organised by the Professionals for Justice in Panadura. The United National Front stated in media briefings recently that it will contest for the forthcoming general election as a wide alliance. But at the same time, the political leaders at grassroots level have already suggested names for the position of Prime Minister. Therefore, the United National Front has taken steps to appoint a leadership council. Former parliamentarian Rajitha Senaratne, speaking at a media briefing yesterday, explained about the situation inside the UNF. Although Rajitha Senaratne has stated that a rainbow alliance is being formed, the UNF has still not been able to decide on the leadership. It is reported that there is a wide discussion on the matter inside the front and there are serious clashes in the discussion rooms. Our correspondent said that there was a clash in the discussion at Panadura too yesterday. Sri Lanka Freedom Party General Secretary Professor Rohana Lakshman Piyadasa says that the SLFP will work hand in hand with several prominent political parties as an alliance to mark a glorious victory in the forthcoming general election. A special discussion was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena on buying in the forthcoming elections. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was also present at the meeting. In addition, allies of the UPFA, including the SLFP and SLPP, took part in the discussion. Professor Rohana Lakshman Piyadasa, speaking to the media, said all the anti-UNP factions will work together as an alliance in the coming election. He pointed out that a series of discussions are being conducted under the leadership of President Maithripala Sirisena regarding the future political strategies. Professor Piyadasa also noted that the SLFP had worked as coalitions in the past and will contest the forthcoming elections with much vigour while strengthening the partnerships with other political groups. In the meantime, the Met Department announces that several spells of light showers will occur in central Sabaragamuwa and western provinces and in Galle and Matara districts. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere. Fairly strong gusty winds up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected over the island, particularly in northern, eastern, north central, central and southern provinces. Misty conditions may occur at some places in the central, Sabaragamuwa and western provinces during the morning. Several spells of light showers will occur in central, Sabaragamuwa and western provinces and in Galle and Matara districts. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere. The cyclonic storm Gaja over the central Bay of Bengal is now located approximately 870 kilometers away from Kankasanture to the northeast of Sri Lanka. It is very likely to move west-southwestwards and intensify further into a severe cyclonic storm during the next 24 hours. Due to effect of the above system, winds can be strengthened and seas will be very rough over the sea areas of coast extending from Potuville to Mana via Trincomalee and Kankasanture in next few days. Fishermen are advised not to venture into sea areas of coast extending from Potuville to Mana via Trincomalee and Kankasanture. Winds will be northwesterly to westerly over the sea areas around the island and speed will be 30 to 40 kilometers per hour. Sea areas to the north and east of the island will be very rough or high at times as the wind speed can increase up to 70 to 80 kilometers per hour at times. Sea areas of southern coast can be rough at times as the wind speed can increase up to 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. Minister Udaya Gammanpila states that the present political situation was created due to the Speaker's conduct. He was speaking at the inauguration of the Avisavela Electorate Office of the Pibituru Hela Urumea. A large number of party activists participated in the event. Minister Udaya Gammanpila noted that the chaotic situation was created as Speaker stated that there are two Prime Ministers in the country. He said that the problem can only be solved by the general public. He added that democracy can only be ensured by the elections. Udaya Gammanpila said that the same elements who created the problem shun the elections as they can't gain the support of the people.
ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදයේ අග්‍රඵලය මැතිවරණ පැවැත්වීම මෙන්න બોලේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී ඉල්ලපු යුම් ඒක තොග පිටින් දුන්නම දැන් අඬාවට.
Now, still at home, a three-wheeler had skidded off into a precipice in the Maha Ulpata area in Bandarabela. The three-wheeler has ended up on a roof of a house at the bottom of the precipice. Two people who were travelling in the three-wheeler at the time of the accident sustained injuries and admitted to the Bandarabela District Hospital. The accident had occurred when the three-wheeler was entered into a main road from a by road. Another accident happened when a three-wheeler and a lorry collided near the Madampe hospital. A 2-year-old toddler was killed and 4 people were critically injured in the incident. The victim was going to the Maravilla hospital for treatment. A youth was killed in an accident at Matale Junction on the Anuradhapura Mihintale main road. The accident occurred when a tipper transporting sand collided with a motorcycle. The tipper had run at high speed and the driver had fled after the accident. Meanwhile, the body of a German woman who had accidentally fallen into the world's end was taken to the Balangoda base hospital. Search of the body was done by the army and police personnel. Though the woman's body was found earlier, it was difficult to bring it down due to heavy slope and mist. Provincial Councillor Nishanta Sri Varnasinghe says that nobody was happy about the previous government due to the weaknesses of the administration. He was speaking at a public meeting titled Professionals for Justice. Provincial Councillor Nishanta Sri Varnasinghe highlighted that it is not a personal issue with Ranil Wickramasinghe. He pointed out that many quarters had an axe to grind. The provincial councillor stated that, but as a whole, the previous administration was not up to recognized standards. Now, concluding the home news, even though certain NGOs are carrying out false propaganda about the country, at the international level, people attached with the tourism industry say the number of tourists arriving in Sri Lanka are on the rise.
Some elements make baseless statements on the tourism industry with the prevailing political situation in the country. However, tourist arrivals have increased rapidly amidst their speculations. People in the tourism industry say that they are able to do their business without any problems. Tourists from many countries, including Germany, Russia, England and India, are arriving in the island as usual.
Well, that's all from the Prime TV News Desk for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, you can log in to www.itnnews.lk for more of the latest news updates. I'm Lahiru Waduge signing off. Have a good night.